Good morning. I would like to let you guys in on a conversation that I've been having for the past 5, 6, 7 years as I decided to go to college. Here's how it goes. Hey Josh, how you doing today? Doing pretty good. Yeah, I heard you're going to college. What are you studying? Well, I'm studying vocal performance, singing in a classical style. Really? How's that work? Well, it's at this moment that I need to make a split-second decision. I need to figure out whether or not I'm going to talk their ear off for a while, or if I'll just say, well, there's a lot of components to it. It's really complicated. There's a lot more to it than you'd think. Cool. Great. See you later. All right, bye. The end. That's how these conversations go. But right now, I don't have to make that split-second decision whether or not I need to talk your ear off. I can do it. I can talk for 12 to 15 minutes about studying vocal performance here at Moody Bible Institute. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain to you a day in the life of a music major here at Moody Bible Institute, particularly me. So the difficult question was, do I want to let this person know about everything that's happening in my life, or the things that we do as music majors here at Moody, vocal students in particular? And I think that this is something that I think you guys would really enjoy. I really love singing, I love performing, and love communicating. And so I'd like to let you guys know what goes on in our lives. Step 1, I wake up, and the first thing I do is drink tons of water. I'm going to keep drinking water as I speak, because I'm going to give you some demonstrations. So first thing I do is I wake up, I drink water, and my prof over the past 5 years has asked us in his studio to drink about 4 of these every day, just because that's 4 liters of water every day. And so the reason we do that is because we need it for our bodies. There's a lot of water that escapes your body when you're singing. So that's why he asked us to do that. So I have an alarm that's set at 8, that's set at 10, at 1 o'clock, and at 7 in the evening, just to make sure that I'm reminded that I have those bottles of water consumed so that I can sing. But the next thing that I do is I get up, go and take a shower. The really nice thing about the shower is that there's a lot of humidity in the air. When I wake up, I'm trying to figure out, was the room too cold that I slept in? Was it humid enough? How am I feeling? Is my throat scratchy? Is it sore? Is there a lot of phlegm? And so those are the things that I immediately think about. And so when I in the shower, I start massaging my face. So I'll get my jaw, I'll get my cheeks, I'll get my forehead, and I get down into my neck to make sure that this is really nice and loose. And I'll think about my shoulders, whether or not those are tense. And then I'll go into a breathing exercise. Does anyone want to do the breathing exercise with me? All right, come here. Or just stand up, just stand up. I'll do it and then we'll do it together. So this engages your core. I'll do it first. I learned it from a video that I'll show you in a second. So, ready? Yo. Okay. Ready? And
Do I have to like?
yeah, we just gotta breathe together. Ready? And Cool, awesome, great job. So what that's doing is it's engaging your core, it's letting you breathe, and the humming sound is so that you get your resonators going. And then after I do that a few times, then I'll go into lip trills. Lip trills are when you do like that, but with sound. So the first one is, and then I'd go into arpeggios, which mean I'm going over the whole octave. And then I'll do the last one, which is, and I'll go all the way up and down my whole range, depending on like how I'm feeling that morning. And then I'm not going to do this one because I can't really do it very well. Like this guy, he's an opera singer. He can do it really well. And it's not showing up. Should I press?
Try pressing next again and see if it'll.
Let's try. Give me 1 second.
There it is.
Oh.
about. There are two falsetto exercises that you can do that really get your breath cooking with gas. You want to be right on the verge of breaking, you men, because this doesn't work so well for the ladies. So guys, do this one. Ladies, skip ahead. See, I'm about to break there at the end. Man, I really need to warm up this. It's okay, Lucas. I forgive you. You want to bounce every one of these. Your diaphragm is going ba-ba, 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 ba-ba. That is the...
Okay, so that's what I do in the shower when I'm warming up. I go to class, I go back to Doan. Doan exists, it's a building on campus. We're not letting non-music majors in because of COVID, but in a couple of semesters, you guys can go up there and you can use pianos and practice rooms. But I'll go up to Doan and I'll sit down at the piano and make sure that I'm in tune with that piano. Whether or not that piano's in tune or not, I don't know. But I'll be matching the pitch that's there. So I'll do that exercise there. I'll do more lip trills as I go to class. And the next thing is step 2. So after lunch, I'll be continuing to do different vocal exercises. And so the first one is and I'll do that over and over again, up and down my range. And then I'll have the third one right there, the neum, is really getting into my nasal cavity. And so I'll do neum, 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 neum. And so that brings my placement forward. So there's different types of placement. If you look here, that's a diagram of the vocal tract. And so a lot of the sound is going through my nose, and I really want it to stay there. And then the next one after that is fun, and I love doing it. It's hungry mama, mama, mew, mama, moo. And so that sound right there is trying to articulate different vowels and getting my lips really together. Yeah, these are just really fun exercises that I will do after lunch. Step 3, I don't do these too much because I'm not doing performance, but I'll be heading to my lesson. And in my lesson, I'm going to put it all together. So I'll go into the room and I will talk with my prof, and he'll ask me about my day, how I'm feeling, whether or not I'm loose, how my voice is doing that day, if I'm in good voice. He's going to talk about all those things. And it's really cool in lesson time because we'll take a few minutes to sit down and talk to each other. And the prof, the vocal faculty here at Moody, they love getting to know people and they love getting to engage with students that they're teaching. And so it's just a really good time to talk about life for a couple of minutes and see potentially how that might affect your singing that day, potentially talk about just things that you're thinking about when you're heading towards a performance. And so as I'm in my lesson, my prof is talking about, initially he's sitting at the piano and he's looking at me and he's like, okay, is Josh loose in his neck? Is he loose in his shoulders? Is he loose in his hands? How's his stance? What does his stance look like? And then he's also thinking about my mouth and my vocal tract. So my Adam's apple is connected to something called the larynx. And so it's your voice box, essentially. So he, for years, wanted to make sure that my larynx was down while I sang, even when I went up. And you can imagine like a rock singer, like really hitting those high notes, and his face is like strained, and his like neck is really veiny and stuff. We don't want that for this style of singing. And so he wants my larynx down the whole time. So you can see my Adam's apple. It doesn't move very much when I go up or down. So he really wants that. I worked on that for like 2 years, 3 years, and I still need to think about that. And then we want good vocal, what he calls vocal adduction. And that's your vocal folds coming together in a really efficient way. There's certain vowels that really help produce a really good sound. So E is one that really worked for me. We have ah, o, all the different vowels. And you also don't want too dark of a sound. So you can have, there's a German piece that I worked on. So you have really back placement, which is or so there's forward placement or really nasal stuff. And the sensation of that is outside your face, right? In front of your face. But then you have back placement, which is dark sounds, which happen really far back in your voice, or in your mouth, in your throat. And you don't want that too much because then you don't have a ring or something that carries across the room. And then you also think about breath control. We did the exercise. When you're breathing, you want to make sure, or my prof is looking at me and he's like, is Josh's rib cage expanded? If I'm opening up all the way around my whole rib cage, is that something that's happening? I need to let my abdomen collapse. I need to let it relax and keep this open while I'm doing that. So I'll be singing, keeping this open, making sure this goes in, but I'm also thinking about my larynx, my soft palate, and my tongue to make sure that those things are all in the right place and the vowel is correct so that it's ringing and it's not too swallowed. And he'll just sit there and do warm-ups and he'll be like, no. Did you hear that? What did that feel like? He'll do that over and over again. And then we have silly exercises. So while I'm thinking about my tongue being in the right place, my soft palate being in the right place, my larynx being in the right place, I'm thinking about being relaxed, I'm thinking about my breath. He's like, Josh, it's not sounding too great right now. You got to do the duck walk. So I'm literally standing there doing like, and the reason I'm doing that is because that's really flopping my arms. It's letting me disengage my core if it's too hard right here, because I'm bent over like this. And I'm also moving so that I'm not just standing really still. And then we have a great march. That's also a walking exercise. So he'll be like, all right, Josh, start walking. And I've walked while I sang for like 5 minutes straight. So I'm literally doing this while I'm like, and I need to make sure that my placement's still right and my breathing is still right. And he'll comment on those things and stop me and get me to do those things over again. And then drop. If I'm doing a high note, I'll do and the reason I'm doing that drop is because I have too much tension in my larynx when I go up. And I need to make sure that my larynx stays down. So I do a different physical thing with my body to trick my brain into saying, stay down. So I've like had leg day by doing that, because it's literally like, all right, sing that note again, do it again. And I'm dropping over and over again, and it kills your thighs. Flop is another one where I literally just sing like this, making sure that because of gravity, my soft palate is up in my head like this. And then I'm thinking about my shoulders being loose. I'm thinking about my arms being loose, my hands being loose. And those are like parts of the flop. So finally, to finish up, we have placement, breathing, your physical like intricacies in your mouth and your vocal tract. And then you have your external things. On singing, my prof would be like, all right, sing that again. Give me a shoulder massage, making sure my shoulders are not tense. And he's like, Josh, move your hands, move your hands. But I'm thinking about that, and he's like, all right, go to the pianist. And she starts playing, and I have to think about, okay, where am I coming in? What is my rhythm as I start? What pitches am I singing? All right, I think about that as I'm listening to her. So I'm getting ready to sing, and then I have to make sure my larynx is the right place, make sure my soft palate is the right place, make sure my tongue is in the right place, make sure I know the text that I have to sing. And then he's massaging my shoulders, and then I start singing. And I think that's a part of it that people are not thinking about when they ask me the question, how do you study singing? Why do you take so much time? Why is the voice major degree 5 years instead of 4? And so I'm thinking about the text, I'm thinking about the rhythm, but we do all those things. We wake up, do lip trills, drink water, do all those things for the sake of communicating this piece of music that we have, something that we love to do, something that we love to perform. And we really have to think about it all and make sure it's really ingrained in our body. And for us to perform it well, to communicate this piece of music. So this is a hashtag that one of my friends from a few years ago had for the music department. And yeah, I just encourage you to go encourage a music major friend as they're heading towards their voice final and think about all the things that they're doing. I mean, my prof would have the requirement for the last 2 years that we practice 10 hours every week. And so on top of their finals and everything else that they're singing constantly, and they're doing other rehearsals and things like that, and they're gearing up for a performance. So I encourage you to encourage them. I hope you enjoyed this. I really enjoyed communicating with you.